It wasn't the most eventful day, but you don't need excitement to make money in the markets. You just need a couple of VWAPs and a nice clean pop in the direction of trend. Let's take a look at the charts here and you'll see what I mean. We had a nice open going down a little bit, similar to Monday and Wednesday's video. If you haven't seen those yet, definitely go check those out. I did recaps on those. Not really interested in these first few minutes of shorts. Not that I would ever chase that, but wanting to see maybe longs come in, but I could believe shorts. Let's paint a picture for a second. Go to the 15-minute chart. Where we're opening up at to start the morning is actually below this yellow VWAP, which is anchored from the start of week. And you can see when we were finding longs Monday through Wednesday, it was off the start of week. Tuesday, when we got to the desk, we were back above it, and all day on Wednesday. So the longs have been in play all week. This is the first time we are back below that start of week VWAP overnight, lower highs and lower lows, right? So sometimes I say when it moves lower overnight, that doesn't really scare me or make me want to look for shorts, because that's this move here. Moving down overnight, but still above this VWAP, and we move back in the direction of trend. Being that we're below that VWAP, you definitely could see shorts want to continue today. But the key factor being the PPI news here on Thursday, shooting us higher above the daily VWAP, similar to yesterday, how we had CPI pre-market. Same idea. The bullish bias following through with the news that we opened up the day above the daily VWAP, right? So although we're still falling structure-wise and below the start of week, I could favor longs because we are above the daily. Now, they're not great or as good as they could be like they were on other days, but take a look at the 1 minute here, and you'll see the first sign to want to buy it is going to be a reclaim of that New York VWAP. Buyers step in heavily with a strong break above that New York VWAP. We're going to go with a stop loss at the structure, and you take it up to that start of week VWAP. You get a nice 1.6 R if you were to hold it all the way up to there. If you hold it longer, you obviously get more of the move, but trading level to level, if you take the first break of open range high, you still get 1 R to there, so that's still a solid trade. If you ride it all the way up to start of week VWAP as your target, knowing that it still could have rejected off of there, and you wouldn't want to get a donut out of that. So, nice longs at the open. Now, if you don't take that one, that's fair. Let's just move this over. What does this look like? This looks like the first break of open range high. Not chasing those. Let it pull back. Buyers defend the New York. And this is like the second break outside that open range high. You could even throw on a high day view up there. And it's going to look like buyers are reclaiming that as well. Let's put that on that left candle. Turn that purple. You can see buyers are stepping in with strength. Now the second break outside open range high, stop loss, not at current structure right here. Cover some pins back here to the left, 8-9 point stop. And yes, you could quickly scalp it for 0.8 R up to that VWAP, or you let it ride a little bit longer and you get a very well 2.5 R clean winner, no doubt about it. But after that, when it looked like it was just going to become a drifting day, we're never going to get that pullback. Will we ever get that pullback? We did. Perfectly to the New York VWAP and that start of week VWAP. A great place to want to find a bounce play or break of high day VWAP play, depending on if you're fully sold on that bullish bias, which I am. So let's throw in a high day VWAP from there. You can see we don't break it with buyers taking control here or here. So if you're long in it there, you're playing the bounce play, which is fine. Let's say you play the bounce play there, right? Stop loss below structure, not at the current one here. We're going to try to find some pins back here to the left, just to give us a little bit more room below that New York VWAP and that start of week VWAP in case it wants to keep on playing with it. Exactly what it did. So it takes a while. Let's stretch this thing out and see when does it actually get 1 R, if ever. So it does go 1 R. Let's say that over there, so we don't have to draw it all the way over there. To this pin to the upside, you get 1.02 R perfectly. If you got a perfect entry and a perfect stop loss, right? But notice how buyers hold control above New York VWAP. They never break that higher low structure. Another higher low, another one, another one, another one. So although it was slow, there was never a doubt that buyers were still holding in that control, that you definitely don't want to be a seller and you shouldn't be scared out of your longs just because you're impatient and it's not moving very quickly. But I think the bounce play is definitely viable, especially the more you see it start to bounce. You could say, hey, I want to be long here because we're really respecting this New York. Maybe over here, maybe even over there. The break of high day VWAP comes here. So let's stretch that out. That one does not go 1 R. If we cover this pin to the left, it definitely goes into profit. Maybe it gets 1 R by the end of the day. Not really. So, I mean, you're definitely wanting to buy it, but risking 11 points, you don't get 11 points out of it because, let's switch it to the 2 minute here and you'll see, just dried up. Never a doubt bullish. Definitely these higher lows off of this New York, and it's respecting above the high day VWAP. But you could clearly mark off this zone here at like 6,050. Could not get above it. Even in power hour here to end the session, couldn't really hold above, couldn't hold above, couldn't hold above, even right there on that pin. So clearly there was resistance up here that you don't want to be a seller unless you're at that level. I mean, the tough trade would be selling it away from there, but there is money to be made in those. But I think just taking advantage of the early longs off of the New York VWAP before we've seen it start to turn into chop, and we don't know if it's going to have a clean trending day or not, because, I mean, this is the first hour up to here. You're going to figure we're going to have a lot of bullish momentum today. This thing's just ripping higher. That was as high as it went, 11 o'clock, an hour and a half into the day. That's when the high of day was set. So not the most eventful day, but not a day where you should really be losing money, because, like we went over, the longs were either mid-range, top of the range, or bounce play off of this. And I'd say if you take a high day VWAP break, like we went over very quickly over here, you shouldn't lose, because the stop loss never gets tapped. You would have just eventually bailed on the trade because you were sick of it, which I would be too. I mean, this is absurd. This takes forever to get going. That if I survive all this, pulls back to entry again, and it pops up to high day right there, I'm closing it, because, oh my lord, an hour and a half, I'm getting half an hour out of this, but I'm not wanting to just keep on staring at this thing. I mean, even over here, you could say, just cover something, because that mental capital is being worn, and it's not really showing you that it has the strength to keep on moving higher, but don't want to sell it, and that's how you get that play. Like I was saying, ideally, we started the week, or we started the morning above that started week view up, but hopefully it all makes sense that why we're long in it, because we are above the daily, following the momentum from the bullish PPI numbers, which is the same reaction we had yesterday, pre-market here at 8:30, up on the CPI, but really didn't move higher afterwards. So a little bit mixed bag there of the different news sets, though. But I think overall, to end the session, back above the start of week view up. So when we come back in tomorrow to finish out the week, it'll be interesting to see, do we hold above it and maintain control to maybe build a higher low in here and finish off the week slightly bullish, or do we come back below it and maybe fizzle off a little bit to end the session as well? Not really the cleanest week now that you look at it, right? It was definitely bullish Monday through Wednesday, but this kind of cleared the board and swallowed up all that price action from those first 3 days. But hopefully you guys made money, and this is like the same setups. I mean, you can go to the AceFX TV here where we stream every day. There's today's stream, yesterday's trade, Monday's trade, mid-range, top of range. Looks the same, right? Because they are the same. They're all taught here on Futures 2.0. So if you haven't signed up yet, you can start a free trial or use code Evan and you get access to this course, Futures 101, as well as all the live streams. Definitely check that out, because we're streaming every day and taking these trades together. But then what I was saying on my report card from Wednesday, the trades on Monday and Wednesday were exactly the same. And you could slightly argue that today as well. I mean, let's go to my TradeZilla real quick. Let's go to Tuesday. Well, Wednesday for sure. What does this one look like? That's the mid-range. So that's not going to look like today's. Maybe Tuesday's. You never know. Open range high break. That's kind of like today's, like I was saying. Don't take the first break of open range high. Buyers defend it. Take the second break, although this one's not the second break. Today would have been. And you catch that first break higher. Switch my marker to the green. I think I like it. Used to be red if you've been watching these videos for a while. I don't know why that threw me off for a second. But anyways, hope you guys found value, and hope you guys are making money this week. And if you didn't, if any of this price action confuses you, or the setups that I went over, because your first time here, second time, whatever, like I said, feel free to tune into the streams, ask questions, go through the courses, keep tuning into these videos, because it is really simple once you get the hang of it, that there were opportunities today. They didn't just rain all day of longs, but there was definitely money to be made, and I'd say more importantly, there wasn't really money to be lost, because there was no sign to sell it, so no one should have gotten induced into a short, like potentially yesterday. And even if you did long it, off of where I'm teaching, off of the New York VWAP, like I said, you don't really lose. You would have just eventually bailed out of it and maybe not a full 1 hour winner. But money is money. We'll take that over a red day. And of course, someone could have lost today, right? If they launched it up here, chasing even more momentum. And like I said, why I don't buy it up there, because at any moment that bigger pullback can come, which is what I want anyways. And that's exactly what happened. So that would have been the worst feeling, seeing this all drift higher and saying, you know what, we're not getting that pullback. Let me just get in. And now it pulls back to the key level that you wanted it to anyways. That's just always going to feel frustrating and probably going to tilt the rest of the day. But I think if you can get a real nice close price to that New York VWAP, you can make some money today. So like I said, appreciate you tuning in. Always feel free to reach out if you have any questions on the VWAPs I use and all that good stuff. But follow your rules, trade safe. See you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.